Vanakkam. Good morning to all of you, one and all who's present here for the inaugural session of the international conference entitled Francophonie in India, Teaching, Learning, Multilingualism, Representations and Diaspora, organized by the Department of French here at Pondicherry University in collaboration with the University of Bordeaux-Montaigne, France, and research group francophonie. I'm Dr. Ritu Tyagi, Associate Professor at the Department of French here, and on the behalf of the French Department, the organizers of this conference, and on my own behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to one and all, to the special guests who are joining us today, Mr. Etienne Roland-Piègue, Consul General of France, Pondicherry and Chennai. We extend a warm welcome to you and thank you for your presence here, sir. Madame Chantal Samuel-David, who is the President of the French Consular Council. We will also be joined by Madame Hélène Mouret, Senator for the French citizens living abroad through a video conference, and Mr. Nicolas Manetti, who's Director of the Association of Francophone Universities Asia Pacific through a video conference. I extend a warm welcome to them and thank them for sending us the videos. And now I also extend a warm welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Tarunukarsu, for taking time out to be amidst us this morning. To Professor Clement Lutz, the Director, Culture and Cultural Relations, and also today representing his deanship, he is also the Dean, School of Humanities, of which French Department is a part. I also welcome the colleagues from the French Department as well as colleagues from the other departments who are joining us, the participants who are local as well as participants who are joining us from different parts of India, different parts of the world. Heartily welcome to all of you. All the students who have traveled or who are local as well as research scholars from Pondicherry University as well as other universities for joining us today, this morning for this event. I would also like to place on record the fact that initially Mr. Nicolas Manetti, the director of IUF, was slated to join us here for the inaugural address, but unfortunately he couldn't make it due to a cyclone in Vietnam. And so in his place, Madame Chantal Samuel-David would be delivering the inaugural address, but Mr. Nicolas Manetti has sent a video to us which we will be showing in due course. I would now like to invite Dr. Sharmila Acharif, Head Department of French, Pondicherry University, under whose dynamic guidance and support we have organized this conference. She is also someone who has displayed tremendous team spirit and made us all come together for this event. She will be delivering the welcome address today.
A very good morning to the esteemed dignitaries on the dais and to all who have gathered here for the inauguration of the international conference La Francophonie en Inde. A welcome speech always sets the tone for bringing together all the important dignitaries and stakeholders to make any event a grand success. I deem it a privilege to welcome in our midst Monsieur Etienne Roland-Piègue, who has recently taken up his duties as the Consul in the Consulate General of France, Puducherry and Chennai. It is indeed an honor, Monsieur le Consul, that you are here with us for the inauguration of this international conference. I heartily welcome Madame Chantal Samuel-David, Présidente du Conseil Consulaire des Français, as she has kindly consented to deliver the inaugural address. It's with great joy I would like to extend a hearty welcome to our esteemed Vice Chancellor in charge, Professor K. Tarunukarsu, whose unwavering support to academic activities has given our department the impetus in organizing this international conference. I deem it a great privilege to welcome Professor Clement S. Lutz, Director Culture and Cultural Relations, Pondicherry University, and also the Dean of the School of Humanities. Sir, your precious words of encouragement and unstinted support to all our academic endeavors is indeed heartening. I would like to extend a hearty welcome to Monsieur Francis Paradji, Consul and Director, Quebec Office in Mumbai. I would like to welcome all our collaborators, Dr. Satish Nalam, President, Alliance Française, Dr. Anita Riemann of Riemann Constructions, and the invited writers, Mr. Ari Gauthier, Ms. Shanaz Patel, and Professor Karpana Marimuthu. Hearty welcome to the Dean and Heads of Department, the Department of English, Anthropology, and Center for Women's Studies, and other departments. Hearty welcome to our professors, former professors, the head Kanji Mamunivar Center for Postgraduate Studies, Professor Venkata Subraya Nayakar, who are all the doyens of the Department of French. Well, this international seminar has been made possible with active participation of various faculty and scholars who made this journey to be in our midst from several parts of the globe: France, Germany, Japan, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Reunion Islands, and of course from various universities and colleges within India. Hearty welcome to all the faculty colleagues of the Department of French, and last but not the least, to all the students and scholars present here. Welcome to one and all.
We are indeed overwhelmed by the presence of all the faculty members, professors, keynote speakers, and everybody who has come all the way to show support to us. I thank Dr. Sharmila Acharya for welcoming all of you. I would now request all the guests to step forward for the lighting of the lamp.
and gentlemen, after the success of the first webinar Francophonie in India organized between our two universities in November 2023, our university have decided to organize this international conference with the Francophonia Network. It's a research network from Nouvelle-Aquitaine on Francophonies, starting from 2024. Indeed, we have decided to proceed in this manner, namely a webinar followed by a conference in the coming years, hoping to receive support from French and from Francophone institutions, as it was the case this time. In a multilingual and multicultural Indian world, we wish to deeply investigate the status and role of Francophonie, primarily within the framework of education. In India, where 20 main languages and nearly 1,500 other linguistic varieties are spoken, although French remains a less widely spoken language among Indians. It continues to be the first foreign language taught, after mandatory English, of course, starting from primary school in some states. The position of French language teaching needs to be situated within the context of multi-language education and the history of the development of the educational system in India, a context that involves the development of programs, training, the evolution of teacher status, comparison of different educational board, student levels, and career opportunities. Despite the position within the Indian educational system and the presence of significant Indian institutions and French institutions, French Institute and Campus France, along with a very dynamic network of 14 Alliances Françaises, French language education in India reaches 600,000 students, which seems marginal in a country of 1 billion, more than 1 billion inhabitants. One initial observation is that despite high demand, there are still too few qualified teachers, around 6,000 or 7,000, and the status of foreign language teachers remains insufficiently valued. Contributions are invited in one of the following areas. You have first the French language in a multi-language context. This involves analyzing within the framework of the new education policy the status of and role that French occupies in teaching, learning, as well as the methodology approaches through which the language is transmitted. Are this methodology contextualized bottom-up approach? Do they respond to the new needs and objectives of different audiences? What skills are targeted, and what about teacher training? Second, the circulation of Francophone works and the role of translation. In this area, the focus on Francophone literary works produced in the Indian world and the reception of French Francophone literary works translated into different Indian languages, as well as the place of Indian literary works translated and disseminated in the Francophone world. Significant emphasis is placed on imagination and representation. Francophone African literature, for example, post-colonial and very rarely present in university textbooks, could be a powerful intercultural pedagogical tool. We will also examine more broadly the levers, strategy, methods, and outcomes of promoting the French language and Francophonie in India at present and in the near future. And third one is the Francophonie of the diaspora. The historical links between France and India are ancient and have persisted after independence thanks to the role played by Indian institutions, especially universities, in promoting Francophonie, as well as the presence of French institutions, notably in Pondicherry, the French International School of Pondicherry, French Institute of Pondicherry, Alliance Française, École Française d'Aix-Orient, and the presence of a small Francophone minority in former trading posts like Pondicherry, Karaikal, etc. Even though native Francophones are increasingly less representative, Francophone studies were introduced very early in Indian university. Indeed, French language writer or major French works translated into English or Indian languages have contributed to the development of Francophonie. Furthermore, there is a growing interest in Francophone works, especially from Africa and the Indian Ocean, among Indian educators and researchers, likely due to similar colonial and decolonial contexts, notably indentureship. Beyond the colonial legacy, especially in former French trading posts, where there has been a significant loss of native Francophonie, we will see how the Indian Francophone diaspora developed a certain cultural identity in the society where it has settled, notably through the film Sakou, which will be screened in the Alliance Française on Wednesday afternoon. Anyway, the objective, in conclusion, I want to say that the objective for this colloquium is primarily to understand what we can learn today through exchange between the Indian and Francophone worlds, not only points of convergence and divergence, but also transmission and maybe our creolization strategy. Our three Francophone writers present here, Karpana Marimutu, Shenaz Patel, and Harry Gauthier, will have the opportunity to discuss this during this conference, and more specifically during our literary evening at the Alliance Française of Pondicherry on Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marius, for elaborating on the scope of the conference and also for reminding us that indeed the Department of French hosted here at Pondicherry University is a unique and a very privileged place, because we are located in Pondicherry University, in the city of Pondicherry, that had tremendous ties with not just the French but also the Francophone world. We are conscious of that, and we are celebrating, not just celebrating, but also deconstructing our relationship with the French and the Francophone world. And this seems to be our proud and privileged moment to do that. We would also like to extend this relationship to the Indian Ocean world. Keeping that in mind, we have our keynote speakers from Mauritius, from Reunion, and other parts of the Indian Ocean. Moving on, I would now invite Madame Chantal Samuel David, who is the President of French Consular Council, to deliver the inaugural address. Over to you.
Well, respected General Counsel of Pondicherry, Director of Cultural Relations, Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, dear Kamala and Sarmila, respected faculty members and participants. I will just say a few words in French before switching to English. En tant que présidente du Conseil consulaire de Pondicherry, je suis extrêmement heureuse de vous accueillir ici pour ce colloque, pour l'inauguration de ce colloque sur la francophonie en Inde. As a representative of the French community in Pondicherry, and as a Pondicherrian too, I am happy, honored, and it's also a matter of pride for me to inaugurate this international conference on francophonie in India at the University of Pondicherry. First, I would like to thank all the people and the organizations who made this possible today. In one of my previous experiences, I was a translator and an interpreter. And I do know the importance of language in the molding of minds and the enrichment it is, the bonding it creates, to be able to read, write, communicate in different languages. This might seem very natural in a country like India, which is already multilingual. But having this conference held here in Pondicherry does make sense, given the unique ties of France with Pondicherry. Another event makes this conference even more special, although it was not planned when this conference was decided. It's the fact that the Legislative Assembly of Pondicherry has joined the Parliamentary Assembly of La Francophonie last July, centering, therefore, the link between Pondicherry and the French-speaking community worldwide. But this is not only about Pondicherry. I was at the University of Pondicherry in November last year when the Department of French of the university, along with the University of Bordeaux-Montaigne, with Kamala and Sarmila, organized a workshop on the subject of francophonie. The workshop was online and on-site. It was a tremendous success, and the debates that took place during this event were just enthralling, as we had participants from all over the world, not only India, but also France, Mauritius, and it would be authors, teachers, translators, researchers, and it was really a very big success. Given the diversity and the richness of the program of this conference, I'm sure that we will find even more enthusiasm and dedication during these 3 days, if not more. Personally, this is also the opportunity for me to meet people I have discussed with without ever seeing them. And so, before ending the speech, I would like to wish you all a very good colloquium all together.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words and also for agreeing to be with us at the last moment. Thank you so much. We would now move on to our keynote address, which will be delivered by Mr. Etienne Roland-Piègue, the Consul General of France, Pondicherry and Chennai. He is someone who knows India well, who received his PhD in management in 1996 from the business school in SED, and held many important positions in the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs before becoming a counselor for cooperation and culture of the Embassy of France in Vietnam, where he served from 2017 to 2021. He was also the head of the mission of international adoption with the External Affairs Ministry of France. We are very happy to welcome you here amidst us, and we look forward to your keynote address.
Pondicherry Palkalai Katin Manpumika Tunai Vendar Professor Tarani Karasu, Honorable Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Tarani Karasu, chères organisatrices de ce colloque international, Dr Shamila Sharif, directrice du département de français, Dr Mariela Causa, ma chère amie Kamala Marius, chers keynote speakers, Shenaz Patel, Kamala Marius, again, Harry Gauthier, Karpanin Marimoutou, Mariela Causa, again, Karine Germoni, chères enseignantes et enseignants, chers amis francophones et francophiles, Anai Varukum Yen Idayam Kaninda Vanakkam. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. C'est un honneur particulier pour moi de m'exprimer aujourd'hui pour la première fois en tant que nouveau consul général désigné de France à Pondichéry et Chennai. Consul général désigné, c'est un anglicisme, designated, puisque je suis désigné par les autorités françaises, mais je n'ai pas encore officiellement reçu la reconnaissance des autorités indiennes. Ayant pris mes fonctions il y a tout juste une semaine, je succède à ma collègue Lise Talbot-Barré qui, ces 4 dernières années, a œuvré avec dévotion au renforcement des liens entre nos deux pays. C'est avec enthousiasme que je m'engage à mon tour à contribuer à l'amitié franco-indienne à Pondichéry et à Chennai. Cette première prise de parole revêt une importance d'autant plus particulière que le sujet qui nous réunit aujourd'hui, la francophonie, m'est très cher et n'est pas sans lien avec ce qui m'amène à Pondichéry. Ce qui nous réunit aujourd'hui, c'est notre choix de célébrer ensemble la langue française dans toute notre diversité culturelle, de créer un espace de dialogue et d'échange à Pondicherry, où cette fusion unique entre indianité, francité et francophonie est historique et emblématique. La valorisation de cette cohabitation harmonieuse sera au cœur de mon engagement en tant que consul général. Et donc, quoi de plus approprié que de célébrer la langue française ici, à Pondicherry, berceau de la francophonie en Inde. Je tiens à saluer d'ailleurs l'entrée de l'Assemblée législative de Pondicherry à l'Assemblée parlementaire de la francophonie comme membre observateur à l'occasion de la 49e session plénière de l'institution en juillet dernier. Cette entrée, dont la France a soutenu la candidature, est une excellente nouvelle pour la francophonie à Pondichéry et en Inde en général, et nous saurons être à vos côtés pour accompagner votre rapprochement avec les institutions de la francophonie. Cette année, vous le savez, est une année particulière pour la francophonie. En Inde, elle est célébrée de mars à octobre jusqu'au 19e sommet de la francophonie qui se tiendra cette année et pour la première fois depuis 1911 en France, à Villers-Cotterêts, ville d'officialisation de la langue française par la célèbre ordonnance du même nom. 3 mois après la visite de Madame Zakharopoulou, secrétaire d'État chargée, entre autres, de la francophonie, la visite en Inde du président de la République Emmanuel Macron, en janvier dernier, marque une volonté forte de la part de la France de resserrer les liens entre l'Inde et la France, et plus généralement entre l'Inde et l'espace francophone. Car nous le savons, la francophonie est très loin d'être seulement l'affaire de la France. Et je salue à cet égard la présence parmi nous du représentant du Québec. Le français appartient à toutes et à tous ceux et à toutes celles qui le font vivre. La francophonie fédère aujourd'hui États, gouvernements et plus d'1 milliard de citoyens autour du partage, à des degrés divers, de la langue française. Le nombre de locuteurs francophones dans le monde est estimé aujourd'hui à 327 millions. Nous serons près de 800 millions en 2050. Les progrès de la francophonie dans le monde, ces 50 dernières années et pour les prochaines années, imposent une adaptation des stratégies et des modes opératoires afin de répondre au mieux aux attentes et besoins des États et populations francophones. Cette capacité d'ajustement est la clé du rayonnement de la francophonie et de son positionnement. Vous êtes, enseignants, chercheurs, aux avant-postes de cette dynamique d'ajustement en nourrissant de votre recherche l'action politique. Je serai à ce titre particulièrement heureux de lire les actes de vos travaux et d'échanges des prochains jours auxquels je ne pourrai malheureusement pas assister dans leur totalité. Si le français est une langue officielle à Pondicherry, ce n'est pas seulement un héritage de la France, mais aussi et surtout un patrimoine commun. Et c'est un engagement pour nous de le faire prospérer ensemble, ici, à Pondicherry et en Inde. L'enseignement du et en français est bien sûr au cœur de cette dynamique. Avec 600 000 apprenants indiens, le français est aujourd'hui la toute première langue étrangère enseignée en Inde. Pour les institutions françaises, notamment l'Institut français en Inde et le réseau des 15 alliances françaises, je salue à cet égard la présence du docteur Satish Nalam, le président de l'Alliance française de Pondicherry. Donc pour tout ce réseau, la promotion du français s'articule autour de plusieurs initiatives clés. Ces alliances françaises ont pour raison d'être l'enseignement du français dans ce logiciel de la francophonie. Institution de droit local, gouvernée par les francophones et les francophiles des pays qui les accueillent, elle repose sur une très belle idée de confier la langue française à ceux qui la pratiquent et qui l'aiment dans la richesse de toutes les cultures francophones. Car nous ne pouvons bien agir que sur ce que nous pouvons réellement mesurer. L'Institut français en Inde conduit depuis plusieurs mois une vaste enquête afin d'établir une cartographie précise de l'enseignement et de l'apprentissage du français en Inde, de façon à identifier les apprenants, les professeurs de français et les établissements dans lesquels ils exercent. Nous sommes heureux de pouvoir mettre bientôt à votre disposition cet outil et ces données. La francophonie à Pondicherry prend vie tous les jours dans des écoles très singulières, dites à programme français, qui enseignent totalement en langue française. Le pensionnat de jeunes filles, qui fêtera son bicentenaire en 2026, et où a été tourné le film La vie de Pi. Le collège Calvé pour les garçons. Je suis également très heureux de vous annoncer que l'Institut français en Inde travaille à développer très bientôt un plan de formation complet venant soutenir ces établissements en synergie avec notre lycée français international de Pondicherry afin d'épauler ces institutions emblématiques. En effet, conscients de leur rôle fondamental d'ascenseur social qu'ils exercent grâce au français, langue plus que jamais d'opportunité et d'émancipation, nous voulons ancrer à Pondicherry et en Inde cet enseignement avec des établissements à programme français. La francophonie est un espace d'avenir et d'opportunité, en particulier sur le plan économique. Le français est une langue de savoir, d'études et de pensée, mais c'est aussi une langue d'employabilité pour utiliser encore une fois un anglicisme, une langue qui ouvre des horizons professionnels. Notre coopération linguistique intègre cette dimension essentielle, car une langue partagée constitue un lien entre les économies des pays qui la partagent. C'est le sens du thème choisi pour les célébrations de la francophonie cette année, dans le cadre du 19e sommet de la francophonie. Je cite, « Créer, innover, entreprendre en français ». La communauté que forme la francophonie a tout à gagner à considérer la francophonie économique comme son nouveau grand projet, à se former comme une communauté économique. Un thème d'innovation qui a une résonance également, parce que l'ambassade de France en Inde souhaite proposer à ses partenaires indiens une année de l'innovation en 2026. Les enseignants et institutions aujourd'hui présentes seront sollicités pour démontrer à cette occasion que le français a toujours été et restera un outil de création, d'innovation et d'entreprise. Je finirai en vous disant que la francophonie est aussi un espace artistique et de progrès social. Un espace artistique puisque le français est aussi, et peut-être avant tout, une langue de poésie, une langue de littérature. Comme le disait Édouard Glissant, l'objet le plus haut de la poésie est le monde en devenir, le monde tel qu'il nous bouscule. Et nous l'avons dit, le français n'est pas l'affaire de la France, mais bien celle du monde, de toutes celles et de tous ceux qui le font vivre. C'est une langue archipel, parlée sur tous les continents. Ce colloque discutera longuement de littérature. Nous pouvons par ailleurs saluer l'initiative Pardon My French, en anglais, le Pardon My French Corner, qui sont des espaces dédiés à la littérature française, traduite en anglais et dans les langues régionales, dont le 5e espace ouvre aujourd'hui même ses portes à Pondicherry, au Focus Bookstore. Un cadre unique pour le progrès social, enfin, puisque la francophonie unit des pays aux réalités culturelles, sociales et économiques diverses autour d'une langue commune. Cette solidarité internationale est essentielle pour aborder les inégalités persistantes, telles que la violence basée sur le genre, la discrimination économique et les obstacles à l'éducation et aux opportunités professionnelles pour les jeunes femmes et pour les jeunes hommes. En favorisant le dialogue et l'action, comme nous le faisons aujourd'hui, nous pouvons construire un monde plus équitable et plus inclusif. Je vous remercie pour votre attention et vous souhaite un excellent colloque pour les 3 jours à venir. Nandli.
Merci beaucoup, monsieur, pour vos mots pleins d'enthousiasme et votre esprit qui s'intéresse à célébrer non seulement la langue française, mais aussi l'indianité et surtout la francophonie, et aussi pour renforcer le positionnement stratégique de Pondicherry politiquement et aussi en ce qui concerne la créativité et la francophonie. Merci beaucoup. I am thanking Mr. Etienne Roland-Piègue for his enthusiasm and his spirit to celebrate French, Indianness and the francophone community, and also for emphasizing on the strategic position of Pondicherry and the role Pondicherry can play in bringing all the different stakeholders together. Thank you so much. We will now move on to our next address, which is the felicitation address by Professor Clement S. Lutz, who is the Director, Culture and Cultural Relations at Pondicherry University and also the Dean School of Humanities. He has always been a pillar of support for the French department, encouraging each one of us to not only discover but also deliver the best in us. He is also an amazing orator who doesn't stop charming us with his speeches full of literary references and subtle humor. We are very glad, sir, to have you here and looking forward to listening to you.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Mr. Etienne Ronald, Consul General of France in Pondicherry and Chennai, Dr. Sharmila, HOD of French, Pondicherry University, and all the dignified women on the dais, invited guests, scholars and students. It is my privilege to be with you on this very happy occasion. I have been very beautifully introduced by the speaker, but I am coming from English department. And my knowledge about French is very, very little. It was said of Shakespeare that he knew less Greek and no Latin. If Shakespeare was like that, then I don't want to describe myself, but I have got very good association with French-speaking people, and even some of my family members could speak French very well. And when I think about this beautiful language, I always used to find out if there are any references in the complete works of Shakespeare about French and French-speaking people. Even though we say that he has no knowledge in French, in Henry VI, Part 3, there is one full scene he has written both in English and French. It is something very surprising. Actually, it is a courtship scene between an English prince and a French princess. And the courtship is going on, but nowhere you come across when the two lovers meet, one interpreter will be also present to translate them. And this is what happens in that particular scene, which creates a lot of, comedy. Because whatever in a very, because the English prince knows only a little French. With that, he thinks that he can manage with the French-speaking lover. But unfortunately, she is not able to understand what he says, and the interpreter creates her own havoc, and naturally everything seems to be in a kind of a comedy. But at last, the English princess says, "Fie upon my false French, I will switch over to English, because why should unnecessarily experiment with a language which I have no knowledge?" And if that is so, I must also tell you, at one particular point of time, when there was a chaotic situation about writing novels, and it was the start of the modern era, especially the postmodern literature is coming to the forefront. It was at that time the French novelists came forward to contribute a lot, because we usually go for the three important ingredients that make a short story or a novel. For writing a novel or for writing a short story, plot is important, characters are important, and the situation is important. And little our novelists know that even without this you can come out with a beautiful story of your own. The only thing is you have to apply your mind. And now they say that without this you can make a very, very small short story, and that can be condensed into 2 lines. Let me tell you the short story, the modern short story, which consists of only 2 lines. The last surveying man of the world is seated in a locked room, full stop. He heard a knock. That's all. Story is over. And if you want to write a story or a novel, you can take this, and then sky is the limit. And again I can tell you, but here also you have everything, but not, quite visible. 2 passengers are there in a bus. One passenger is asking the other one, do you believe in the existence of ghosts? The other person says yes and disappears. That's all. That is the short story. And Margaret Duras, the very famous French writer, has come out with her novella, Le Square. And that is supposed to be one of the novels I always used to teach my students. And that also shows the way how a novella can be written. Only two characters are there, and they discuss about happiness, nothing more than that. And each wants to know from the other what is happiness, or whether they come across this kind of happiness anywhere in their lives. One is a middle-aged man, the other one is a young lady working in a large family. She has got her own problems because of that. The man says, the middle-aged man says, yes, I once experienced happiness. That too in a very curious place. You can't even believe, in a zoo. I experienced it, and that experience lasted only for some moments. And my joy, or rather ecstasy, is so great that I could see even the caged animals were feeling it. The joy getting transmitted even to animals. Then the girl is asking the man, what happened at last? At last I came outside the zoo, and under a tree I sat down and slept off. And when I woke up, there was no such happiness. It has gone. What about you? And the lady says, I think that I may get that kind of happiness the moment I get married. When are you going to get married? I am attending balls, Saturday balls. The first person who comes and takes my hand and invites me to the ball is going to be my husband. A very far-fetching kind of thought, but whether it will happen or not, we do not know. But they part with each other, and the man promises, okay, I will meet you in the ball. That's all. The story is over. And with the minimum characters, how to reach the maximum. And not only that, in this novella, when you read, you find that even the dialogues are given without quotes, without quotation marks. And we do not know who is talking to whom. Because there is no ending like he remarked, he said, that was over, etc. You have to find it out. This is one way of exercising the minds of the readers. And she doesn't want to be the intrusive, kind of a novelist. As you all know, intrusive means the novelist will be engaging the mind of the readers and try to impose her own or his own ideas. Thereby the readers will become lazy. And if you got any kind of, impression about that character, you will be made to change because of the interference of the writer. But unfortunately, this lady proved that all these things are not needed for writing the novel. That is why I value this French novel, later translated into so many languages, as one of the best masterpieces in the world literature. The next one, recently one francophone novel I have read by Martin Lacaze. This is The King of the Mountain. And she actually had her experiments in Bihar. She lived among the Dalits and she understood the plight of the downtrodden. And she heard a story, and that story attracted her to write this novel. The story is about two legendary, a legendary king and his queen. And when they were just going along the road, they happened to meet a Dalit woman. And she is pregnant, but she is not happy about the childbirth or what is going to be her future. But she goes on crying. And the king goes and asks her, why are you crying? She says, very soon I am going to give birth to a child. I know what is going to be the fate of that child. the child has to undergo the same kind of humiliation, the same kind of shame which I am undergoing. So childbirth is something which would be of great joy to any other woman. It is going to be, the saddest day. When I give birth to a child, that is going to be the saddest day in my life. The king, the mythical king being a magician, wants to enter as a tiny creature into that womb of the woman in order to get himself replaced by the baby. It is something very funny, but that is what he is doing it. He enters into the womb because immediately the king decides that if you want to have that felt experience, you should become a baby yourself. And you should undergo all these humiliations. You must undergo all the suffering. Otherwise, you will never be able to get that kind of an experience by reading books or by interacting with other people, etc. Now you can understand the French writer's way of grasping the story and putting the entire content into a new novel. How much the writer must have felt for the downtrodden, that too, the French writer, and she has no affinity with this India, especially Bihar, but she has undergone all this experience, and that experience only has given her this opportunity of writing that world famous novel, which you will all enjoy when you read it. And my dear friends, now these francophone writers are experimenting with so many things like love, then society, human nature, and the problems that are before the downtrodden, etc. But we are also told in the next 30 years, the French-speaking people, they are going to triple. And this you can expect because there is such a fascination for this language, and the French department usually comes out with a lot of good programs, and this time they have decided that they should celebrate this francophone literature, and there is a command for this francophone day of 2024, create, innovate, undertake in French. And this is what I would like to tell our students here, because the head of the department also happens to be my own student. I am very proud of that, because when I come to the French department, it gives me double joy. And this is the message that you have to carry, and if the message is reached, then all of us will be having a wonderful day with all these scholars. Thank you so much.
Mr. Retini Roland P. Sorry for my pronunciation. I am not good at French. And inaugural address speaker, Madam Chantal Samuel David. And the conference organizer, Dr. Kamala Marius. And our head of the department, Dr. Sharmila Ashraf, and Professor C. Tirumurugan, and the speaker through video conference, video message. It was sent by Madam Helen One-Way Moriat, and our director, Professor Clement S. Lourdes, and all the department faculty members and the delegates from other parts of the world and the country, and my dear students. Good morning, everyone. So it is indeed great pleasure to be part of this international conference, La Francophonie en Inde. And I understand that it is organized jointly by Pondicherry University Department of French and the University Bordeaux, Pondicherry, France, and Francophonie. So I am basically very new to this French culture, because if you don't know the language, you cannot understand the culture. So I surf through what is the Francophonie and the Francophone and the French, all those things today I could able to understand. And I understand that this is the very good organization, which meets often and also help each other. The people who speak French, and also develop the and maintain the culture, whatever the language, and help each other. So I understand that it is more than 321 million people all over the world. They speak French, and interestingly, one of the African countries, they have more French speaking people than France. That is also very interesting information for me. So as our Director Culture mentioned, so to this year motto is actually the 2024, somewhere I have written. Basically the motto of this francophonie is egalite, complementarite, solidarite. This is basically this some of the same language speaking people also have the similar culture all over the different language people, and the same thing I could able to understand. As I mentioned, this year theme is create, innovate, undertake in French. So this is the theme of 2024. I think student of French will take this and then move forward with this theme. I also found out that the organization of La Francophonie is doing a lot of good things to the Francophonie community, and in fact during COVID-19 they created solidarity platform to share solution to the pandemic. This is the outcome of this group of this organization, and it also created the Avec Ellis Solidarity Fund, which support women and girls in vulnerable situations. So this is also very useful to the women and girl who are in need. And also interestingly, this community OIF is also supports sustainable development. Hopefully this is also doing in Pondicherry. And I also understand that the OIF supports the education, training, higher education and research. Hope our department also will conduct and then get some fund out of this for helping our our students. And there are more than 88 member countries in this La Francophonie community. So this is, I thought I will correct myself and then share whoever is like me, who do not know about the Francophonie. So I also understand that there are some universities, they institute fellowships and help Francophonie community. So hopefully our university also will move towards that and then help our community here. And also when I check what is the basis of the literature and then of this Francophone and French community, I come across Jean Fontaine. This is very famous poet, I understand. So most of you know. Then I also understand that he has written 12 books containing 243 fables in verse. So this is the basic of maybe many the cultures of French, and this is where we also learn, our French community learn from this. So it was very interesting when I go through this. So there are many lines or famous words, sentences came out of these fables, like slow and steady win the race. For other non-francophonie people, we don't know what is the origin of this sentence, but today I understand that this is all from this Jean Fontaine's fables, like Yemen helps those who help themselves. This is also a very interesting sentence. Even in Tamil it is given by Thiruvalluvar, Deivatha Nagadanenum Muyarchidan Meivarutha Koolidaram. Similar meaning. So in the 17th century poet, so like wise men think alike. So it was, so like this, I understand there are many interesting sentences. It is interesting for me because through fables, how the knowledge is transferred to the community. So that may be the reason these books are very famous in the French community. So very interesting to know about Francophonies, their cultures, and also looking forward to interact more in the evening. And thank you for Department of French and the University of Borax for arranging this international conference and inviting me for this function. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out to be with us and for your unflinching support and encouragement throughout. As we head towards the end of this program, I would now like to invite my colleague, Professor C. Tirumurugan, for a vote of thanks. He was also a member of the team who conceptualized the conference last year. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ritu. Un grand bonjour à tout le monde. A very good morning to all of you. For the past 3-4 days, I've been getting conference dreams. As if I'm going here, meeting people, inviting, all those things. And I was sharing this with one of the organizers, Sharmili. She was telling, no, we are not getting like that because we weren't able to sleep at all. So they were not sleeping for the past 1 week. To that extent, both of them, they have worked, Sharmila and Sharmili, meticulously for the success of this international conference. The formal vote of thanks I would like to extend. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul. With these words, with the heart full of gratitude, we extend our deepest thanks to the luminaries who have graced this stage with wisdom that will resonate long day today, even long after today. I begin by thanking our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor K. Taranikarasu, who has accepted and immediately permitted us to proceed with the organization of this conference and presided over the function. Thank you, sir, for all the support that you have given us, guided us, motivated us till now. I would like to also thank you, sir, for your insightful speech. Our deepest thanks to our distinguished guest, Monsieur Etienne Roland Pieg, le Consul General de France à Pondicherry at Chennai, who has graced us with his presence and made this event all more special by sharing his time and wisdom. We are very much obliged to you, sir, for the enlightening speech that you have given us. We are deeply grateful to Madame Chantal Samuel David, Présidente du Conseil Consulaire des Français, for having immediately accepted our invitation and had given the inaugural address. We are related to have you in our midst and for having given an enthralling speech on the topic. A special note of gratitude to our generous sponsors who, like invisible hands, lifted up and empowered this conference to reach its fullest potential. We have to mention the support extended by the Embassy of France in India, Institut Français, the Bureau du Québec à Mumbai, Association des universités francophones, Alliance française de Pondicherry, IEF-PRO, Goyal Sab, New Delhi, Riemann family, Pondicherry. To our participants who have come to honor us from various parts of the globe, the panelists, the writers, the scholars, whose curiosity and enthusiasm have been the lifeblood of this gathering. We thank you for your unwavering engagement and thoughtful academic deliberations that you are going to make during the next 3 days here. A warm round of thanks to our volunteers, scholars and students in this department whose silent dedication have been the backbone of this event. Your hard work had not gone unnoticed. You have worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Your efforts have been keeping everything moving smoothly. To our panel moderators, we are deeply thankful for going to turn discussions into insightful, thought-provoking moments. A big thanks to the PRO, technicians, the press people, the guest house staff, etc., who worked tirelessly to assist and ensure everything was in place. Finally, to all of you who attend both in person and virtually, your presence has been the heartbeat of this event. The more grateful I am, the more beauty I see, and today we see the beauty in this shared experience. Thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you one and all. Vive la France, vive l'Inde, vive la francophonie. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, sir, for a very poetic note of gratitude that sets the right tone